going live. We are live and recording. Playing in Traffic tonight, September 5th, 2019, with your sit-in host, Ray Guarino from Motormouth Radio here on Long Island, New York. And we're going to have a few good guests tonight. We do have, you'll see sitting to my, whichever side he's on your screen, Brian Bassone. Brian, nice to have you on tonight. Thanks for coming in with us.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And, of course, we're going to have George Rubistello coming on as soon as he gets connected again. And Terry Wilson will be coming on and helping me out. He'll be my he's my designated co-host. So we're all co-hosts. So hopefully George can reconnect and we'll get him back in. So why don't we start like this? Why don't we just start and have you? This is what I do on the radio, so we'll do it on the video thing the same way. We've introduced you. How about telling us a little bit about who you are, what you've done, how people would know you, how they can find you, and then we'll just roll it from there.
Sure. Some people might remember me from the TV show called Pinks All Out. If you look above in the back over here, you'll see I was a cast member on the show for many years. Actually, I was one of the original racers that raced on the Pink Show with Rich Christensen. And I still have a relationship with Rich. We still work with each other back and forth and do projects. But I was on the Pinks All Out show as the man in the tower. I picked the final 16 cars for many, many episodes. Nice. Season 3, 4, or 4 and 5, one of the other ones from there. And continued on with Rich. And a couple of the projects. We did Orange Drop Racing, other stuff.
When it showed me.
We can hear George. We can hear George and his wife. We just can't see him. Right.
So yeah, so it's real simple. I was one of the original cast members of Pinks All Out, and what I've did is over the last, I guess it's going on 7 years. Rich called me and said, "Hey, we got the contract back for Pinks All Out back in 2014, I think it was, with a 5-year contract." And it enabled us to create.
It doesn't look like you can do it on here.
Hey, George.
That's going to have to be to go back over here.
George, if you can hear us, if you can mute your microphone until you connect with the video, that would be great. He doesn't hear us.
Hold on. I'll text him. Hold on.
All right. Good idea.
Okay.
And this is what happens with it happens in live radio, and that's what happens with live video. We go through these growing pains and stuff happens, but we deal with it. It's all part of the game. The heck is that? Took a little monkey toy.
Rolling dice.
All right.
All right. I just asked him to shut off your mic and see if he's
Yeah.
All right. So we'll try this one more time.
Right.
George, what are you doing there? He's playing in traffic, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it, right.
So once again, original cast member on Pinks. 2 episodes for Pinks All Out.
That, though.
Every time.
This is actually better. We can everybody just sit back and listen to George for a while. He has no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Watch this. I'll call George.
I don't know,
Well, that's cool. Why not? Yeah.
Here we go, right?
There's your mic. I don't think that's your mic.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I don't.
You hear us.
Your iPhone is not.
Why don't you try your phone?
Okay.
Oh, wait. There he is.
All right, Terry's logging in now, too. So as soon as I see Terry, I'll get him in.
All right, the phone's ringing for George. Let's see what happens here. Sorry, everybody.
You hear it ringing, yeah. I had him on screen twice. Let me remove one. Let's see what happens.
George, reconnect. Okay. It's not answering. Okay.
You know what? I'm going to... That's too bad. Yeah, he's not... All right, I just removed him. He'll have to try and log in again.
All right. So where were we? I'll repeat myself.
Pinks, and we weren't too far.
Yeah, I didn't get too far. So once again, my name is Brian Bassone. I am the host of All Out Live, the new TV show that's on MAV TV and Revan TV and Roku and Facebook and YouTube. Original cast member of Pinks. I did 2 episodes of Pinks and then actually worked behind the scenes with Rich Christensen and the crew with Fox Television, which is Speed Channel, for, I guess, till the very end. I was offered a job to come on air and be one of the on-air talents and continued on with that till the very end. I also continued on with Rich Christensen with other projects. And in 2014, he gave me a call and says, I just got the rights back to Pink's. Limited, but we have it back if you want to do something. He goes, I don't want to do anything, but if I know you wanted to, because I've always been saying since day one, when Pink's went away, the grassroots racers really have only two places to race. It's either bracket race or testing tune.
Right.
Pink's All Out put everybody on an elevated level, took the grassroots racer and made him a star, and it just kind of went away. And I felt bad, and I think that, personally, these are the people that need the support that we give them in our new show All Live, just like Pink's All Out did. He takes the guy next door around the corner of the gas station, the weekend, and takes them to an elevated level and makes them the star for just at least a short period of time, or as much as we could give them the stage. That went away, and it's been my goal now for 7 years to bring it back. And I finally was able to do it last year on its own. I just walked away from the Fox deal when it was all said and done, created something new. I took the two best parts of the two of the best shows that I thought basically were ever on Speed Channel, which was Pink's All Out and Pastime. I don't know if you guys ever saw those shows, but they were #1 shows for years going on end, and ratings even on Pastime sometimes was higher than Pink's All Out. So All Out Live is my version, let's say, of a morphed Pink's All Out and Pastime into one super show. It's a All Out Live. It's a live stream and televised event that happens all over the country. We got 2 more left. We're going to be in Texas next weekend, on the 13th and 14th, and then we're going to be in South Carolina on the 11th through the 13th, I do believe, of South Carolina Motorplex. But my job in this world has been put since day one, is to give the grassroots racers a elevated stage and make them the stars. Not the rich guys, not John Force. I'm tired of looking. I love you, John Force. You're great, but you got all the money. What about the little guys? And that's all about. And that's what my wife and I put a lot on the line to do this. And this is what we've been doing for 2 years.
That's why I always Pastime became a favorite. I loved Pink's, but then Pastime really did it for me, because you get to see what guys are pulling out of their garages and shops from all over the country, and there were some surprises, and there was some. It was like going to a cruise night, but seeing people race. For me at least, and that's kind of what kind of feedback did you get? What was the majority feel about that? What people liked, didn't like about that show?
A Pastime and Pink's All Out, obviously 2 different entities. There was, Pink's had its controversy with Rich Christensen. You hated him or you loved him. He did his job. He created the controversy. Pastime had Brett Wagner and Ken Herring. It was a great show. It was fun, and what it was a game that everybody could play along with.
Right.
But to a limited amount of point, if you think about it, because you had to actually know what an ET was. Right. You had to know what a quarter mile was. So it really was pointed towards the automotive-based background person. We've simplified it even further. We've taken it down. I wouldn't say take it down a notch, but we simplified it that everybody in the world can do it. On our show, on All Out Live, we call it Instant Green. It's because we start everything with Instant Green. We don't have Rich anymore. Rich is doing other things. But Instant Green has 2 meanings. We give away cash, Instant Green. Nice. You pick the left lane, you pick the right lane. If you pick the correct lane, you win the cash. It's just that simple.
Wow.
So my mom could jump on stage. We've had kids in there, 10 years old, women, men, old, young. It doesn't make a difference. All you need to do, you don't even have to know what the car is. Just if you want the pink car's in the left lane. Choose the left or choose the right. Gavin Jerome is the host. Gavin Jerome actually was the voice for Pink's All Out and Pink's. He was Rich's right-hand hand. He was always up in the tower. Gavin's been a staple with the brand forever. I brought him along. He has taken over the duties of the Instant Green game show, and he's doing an awesome job. And it's just simple. It's fun. They do it. Think about it real quick at the track, what everybody does. And they're holding money up and dollars up, left, right, left. What are they doing? They're playing our game. It's just that simple.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's a fun deal. And everybody, that means, think about what I just said, though. Anybody that comes to one of our events. So you could be the All Out Live racer, which is one of our standard racers like we did originally with Pink's All Out. And, used to win money and cash. Now we have 3 classes for that, and everybody gets a chance. But we pick fans from the stands come down, and they play along. They go on TV, and they win cash. So in one show, anybody that's literally walking on those premises can be on TV or win cash. or prizes.
That's great.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
That's excellent. Because you're right. Like with pastime, myself and the guys who I knew watched it, new cars, so you could, you'd size it up and you make it. But there were those sleeper cars in there where you didn't know. It looked like a piece of crap, but like you didn't know if it was going to pull a fast one on you. And that was the beauty of the show. You had knowledge, and if you had the right data, you could apply the knowledge. But you couldn't always do that because you couldn't always tell. And that was that was the beauty of it. But no, this sounds like a winner. It really does.
Yeah, it's fun. We just need the word to get back out again. We need people to pass along that this is alive and fun, and it's a fun show, and we need the support, and we need the people to realize that this is back on, and we do this for them. Right. You go to alloutlive.com, you get all the information. It'll show you everything about what we're doing. We have episodes on there. You can watch it live. Just click the button live, like next weekend.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the show, it's really simple. Just go to our website, All Live, click on Watch. Click on it. You can choose either on Facebook or on YouTube and watch the whole event. Or excuse me, the event, the finals. We do the final 16 groups. We do all the way to the end. We put that up there, and we're now actually one of the first ones to do this, but we're actually live streaming in 4K. So we're putting in 4K live.
Right.
We do that. We put it out there. We leave it up for a few weeks. We pull it down. We hold back the finish line cam, the interviews, the B-roll, and all the good stuff, and we make 30-minute TV shows. So for each event we go to, it's all out. Whereas one hour show, we're making 3 half-hour shows that air on MAV TV, Revin TV. You can watch it on Revin TV on Roku, our YouTube channel, and it's so there's more people at our shows have more chance to be on TV. Not just remember the final 16 always got it.
Right.
Times 3 now. I mean, so
right.
It's fun. It's a good deal. And George is a key player on one of other shows as well. If he ever gets his ass back on here.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep resubmitting his. I keep what do they call it? I keep reprompting him, but he's not. And Terry is accepted and trying to connect, so he hasn't been able to get in there yet either. So maybe there's something in the air tonight. I don't know, but we'll see. I had a question, and I didn't want to interrupt you. So now, and of course, now I forgot what my question was. Oh, do you guys you tech these cars? You run them through any kind of safety inspection or whatnot before they run?
Well, that's the one thing that in the standard protocol that we do. Number one, because we are TV, 2 techs actually.
Okay.
We allow, because of the insurance and everything of that nature that needs to be done at a normal track every weekend you go there. They handle your standard iTray or an intertray tech. We place our tech next to it. And what we want all the information that we can get from these guys, because it's part of the TV. Content is king. So we have a special tech card. Matter of fact, it's funny because I was just going over and editing. So this is our tech card.
Okay.
Ask you really quick, driver's name, address, the basic stuff, but also ask you year, make, model, engine size, power headers, manual transmission, automatic, slicks, DOT tires, and then you go around the back. How many pinks have you been to? Attended. Have you ever been to the final group? How long did you travel? We take all this information section back here, and it's a racer bio. And we want you to fill this out completely, because that's what we do in tech. We want everything to know about you, so that if you make the final 16 group or we put you on the camera, when you're calling a race and you go, hey, it's John on the left, he's got a 69 Camaro, it's about boring when you do it. But if it's John in the Camaro in 69 Camaro, he's had it for 10 years, was born in that car in the back seat of that deal, he's going to race Bob in his 70 Challenger. He's had that thing for 36 years, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff makes good TV, and we want to make sure that the racer gets the amount of exposures we could give them in the short period of time that's available. Yeah. So our tech is basically there for information giving, gathering, and as well, so we could use your stuff. But long story long. Yes, we tech.
No, that's good. That was an excellent answer, because that's there's more to it than just a yes or a no. But I like that, because now you take the background, and like you said, you can put a personality to the person, to the guy in the right lane or the left lane, and you can call out something quirky about the car if he happened to mention it. Like how long he's owned it or whatever else he wants to put in there. That's excellent. Yeah. That's the way you should do it.
And one of the things that I learned when I was on Pinks is we always had a problem was the final 16 came down, and after you talked about them one time, You talked to them once, you really knew everything about this. So every time they come back up again, we're always fishing for information. So when Willie B would go out there, we'd send out one of the PAs to go out there, and they'd walk along and ask them the questions. Then Willie B would have to read off a piece of paper basically what he had found out about them. There's always, you're needing content, because once you go past there and that person wins, guess what? He comes back. You've already asked him his name, his shoe size, what underwear he's wearing. I mean, you're done.
Yeah.
So there's other information to help move the show along, and that's what that's for. And that's why we always stress, this guy didn't do it. This was Jimmy here. Guess what, Jimmy? When I talk about you on the show, I can only give some limited information. So guess what? On TV. So everybody watching, you join one of our shows, fill this out.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
It's all about you, not me. I don't even want to be on TV. I don't really give a crap. I do this for these guys. You know what I mean? They say, well, put the camera here. We always talk about it. I'm like, no. Put the camera on them. This is their moment. I'll be on this thing for however long it goes. You'll see my ugly ass on there from there. My job in life is to make sure that they get the spotlight. So, smile. A lot of guys clam up. Smile.
Oh, yeah.
Talk.
Yeah.
You've had 40 years to figure it out. Say something.
We go through this all the time. And I talk to Louis Lee, I talk to Terry, and I scout guests for my radio show. And a lot of times I've actually had people insist on talking to me on the phone, and that's fine. I prefer to speak to someone on the phone first and do a little pre-interview. And I've had people tell me, look, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what to, and these guys are legitimate. I mean, it could be someone like you, who's definitely legitimate in the field. And certainly not you, though, because you don't have a problem with this. And we'll talk for like 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes, and they'll say, all right, listen, enough of that. It's been nice talking to you, but what are we going to talk about? I got to know what I'm going to do. I tell them, listen, we could have been live. We could have been doing the interview right now. That's exactly what I want you to give me. What you just gave me the last 25 minutes of is what I want to hear. I want to hear it loose. I want to hear it fast. I want to hear it casual. And that's how we do our radio show. Like, oh, really? We don't need a script. I said, listen, if you want to send me questions to ask you, I can do that. But we work better when we work loose. And
I'm horrible at a script. Don't ever give me a script.
Oh, me neither.
I'm the worst. I can't remember anything, let alone that. It's we're out in Colorado, and Willie B is just awesome when it comes to that. He's been doing radio out there. Obviously, you guys know Willie B was on our show. Well, he shined. In Colorado, he came to do a commercial for one of the wax companies, and he just read it, put it down, went, wah!
Yeah.
Ken Herring's out there. It was funny. Ken Herring's out there going, and he finally got it. It was like 10-take Willie. Take Willie just did it again for the hell of it. I get up there for a few things. I'm like, anything they ever ask me to do, I'm like, forget it. Yeah. But the thing that comes naturally. Think about if you, it's just like school. You're interested, car guys are interested in shop and in projects in shop, but you ask them about chemistry and English and stuff, and they don't want to talk about it. As soon as you talk about their, they light up.
Right.
And it's so easy. That's me, because I know my product. I know everything. I created all this. I created this new show. I know every moving part. I can speak about it. Car guys, you would think, though, and some do and some don't, but you got to get it, from being in the position of the host, I have to get it out of them.
Right.
If you walk them and say, how you doing? It's like, good.
Fine. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? How's the car running? It looks like it's, it's pretty cool, man. 69 Camaro. What do you got under the hood? And all of a sudden, bam, you got them. You got to talk about their car.
Or what's worse is, I think most of us have friends like this. You'll start a conversation, say, hey, how you doing? And instead of getting the generic good, you get, oh, terrible. Like, where are you supposed to go from there? We're going nowhere but down. Or you could say we're going to go in nowhere but up. But unless the person plays with you. Terry, I see you made it.
Hey, Terry.
Excellent.
What's up, fellas, man? I am so sorry, man. Yeah, tonight, all nights, my computer wants to do a Windows update.
Oh, geez. Well, don't feel bad. George is out of trouble, too.
But I've been hearing it. I've been hearing what's going on.
So on our installation, our special guest installation of Playing in Traffic tonight with Ray Guarino and Terry Wilson, we have a special guest, Brian Bassone, and hopefully George Rabistello, if he can get back on. We'll see. So
yeah, we got the sheriff and we got the boss one.
Yeah. So holding down the fort. I see we just lost Brian's video, but we can still hear him, so that's okay. And, so you've been hearing what we've been talking about. What I wanted to add to Brian was the funny thing is I'll pitch the show to people on, for a phone conversation. Then I try and get people to come on here, and it's like, geez, I already know. Like, people are like they got all this fear of being on the radio.
Yeah.
Damn, if you tell them this video, like, oh my God, I don't have a camera, I don't have a microphone, I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I'm like, all right, listen, okay. But the ones that we get.
Yeah, some people are camera shy. Some people, I know people who don't like the sound of their own voice and they don't want to talk.
Everybody.
But I'll let you know a little something. When I was growing up, I was diagnosed with a speech impediment, believe it or not. And I figured the best way to get over a speech impediment is to do a lot of speaking.
Say words like impediment. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I always run my mouth and have a gift of gab, so.
You know what cured me? When I first started, I've been doing a radio show for 16 years. And in the beginning, I always listen back to the show. And I still do to this day. I always listen back the next day. And in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't stand to hear my own voice. Nobody ever does like it. But what I did was, it was therapeutic because I was hearing the things that I hated about myself. And I said, okay, I have to change that. I have to not say that or not do this. So it became a working tool. And I still say things I don't like, or I use words that, filler words and things that I don't like. But I'm not a professional, so I can get away with it. I don't have to. But I think that's the thing. The more, and I tell people, the more you hear yourself, you'll get used to it. You'll get numb to it.
Yeah.
It just sounds like anybody else after a while.
Well, we think you're a professional.
Oh, good. That's I'm glad you do.
What's going on, Brian, man? How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. Do you see me? I don't know if anybody can see me still.
Yes.
No, we can see you. Yeah.
Oh, good. I have my pants on.
I'm sitting on my recliner the other night. My wife comes in. She's like, "Why are you sitting here in your underwear?" I'm like, "Because I'm in my damn recliner in my den. That's why." What the hell,
I should be.
I'm married 30-something years. Like, what's the big deal, woman?
But, I want to say thank you. Well, I got Terry on there. Terry, man, thanks for coming out and doing that interview out there in Jersey at ATCO, man. That was fun.
Man, we chopped it up. We had a good time. Matter of fact, I got to put the video out. And we also did a little, me and George Stella did a little tribute to what's it called? Oh my God, I forget his name. The driver who just passed.
Derek Purdy.
Purdy, that's it. I was thinking Bernard Purdy, but no. And so we got like a little. There you go. That's what Derek Purdy is at. That's what he put up. Yeah, he put up.
It was
on the side of his Nova, which was really cool. And like I said, we got a little video coming up soon. And I never met Derek. I think he was going to be a SEMA, and I was supposed to meet him this year. And unfortunately, the good man found a reason to take him, at a young age, and he must have been something special to go so young. And so his work was done, and I'm sure he's looking down upon us, and especially you, Brian, to keep the sport keeping the sport alive for the grassroots racers.
And it was interesting. As a matter of fact, it's on that screen over there. I was editing Orlando Speed World. Derek Purdy came out to Orlando Speed World to come and help and hang out and check out the show, and we gave him the mic. And for some reason, it was buried in a sub file. So I'm clicking through. I had no idea that they had given him a mic and he did interviews. So I'm editing the 3 shows for Orlando, and I'm going through, and all of a sudden, boom, there he is. And I'm like, he's doing an interview. I'm like, oh, it was. Is that the one that you put out like maybe a couple of months back?
Yeah, where he was up on stage and you gave it to him, gave him the mic.
Well, yeah, no, that Friday night we got rained out. Friday and Saturday we didn't race till midday on Sunday. So Friday night we were supposed to do our live feed and do our call out stuff, and it was called. So we had a bunch of sponsors that were in the house, and we figured, well, hey, let's give them some love. And then we had Bill Devine, and we had Tom Keene, and Derek was out there. So let's pull Derek on. His 6'8" ass he's a big guy. And also we're standing there. I look up and I go, you realize how tall you were, man. But we put him on camera. We did a live feed, and then like I said, he never made it to the show. I mean, it was very shortly after that he passed away, and it was horrible. And it was upsetting, and seeing him today wasn't really good and stuff, but he's a great guy. He really, really was the one guy that when he walked in the room, he was so positive about everything. And he was good. He did everything he possibly could to help our shows out. He introduced me to so many people, and we had such big plans to bring him along. And it was just the stepping stones for something bigger. And they took him away short, and it was just a horrible deal. I talked to him on Tuesday and Thursday. He was gone, and I couldn't believe. My wife was in shock. We loved him, and it was really, really upsetting. And we dedicated the show out there to him, and we're going to do something on the back credits as well this year for him. And anybody that has a chance, or anybody that's ever been touched by him, you know what I'm talking about. He's just a good guy.
And I'd never met him. I've yet to meet him. Matter of fact, me and Nelson Gill were going to go. He was supposed to go somewhere, have some type of event in Maryland, I think it was.
Yeah, and that happened like literally. I still have his text on my phone because the event got canceled. And
it was. I mean, days. Once I heard about it, it was a couple of days, and we were going to go that weekend, I think it was. And me and Nelson Gill. Nelson was going to fly in, and then we heard.
And the event got canceled by the track owner, and he wasn't happy about that. And it's literally the last text, which I still have on my phone, which I don't know when I'll ever take it off, but I wanted to see what it says about the track owner on there. But needless to say, he wasn't happy about that. That's the last text I got. Talked to him on a Tuesday, and then Thursday I found. So guys, enjoy life, both of you. Enjoy. I keep saying every time I talk to my wife, we got to sit back. I stress all the time. She stresses. We got so much stuff going on. We have so much on our shoulders for these events. And every time I look at him or look at his video or look at that text, I go, all right, sit back.
Sit back and
and enjoy the days that we have here, because you never know.
Tomorrow is not promised to anyone.
No.
Speaking of that, I just got a text from Tori DeBlasi, who was the guest getter on this show. I mean, Tori's going to be very sorely missed on this deal, I tell you that.
100%.
He did great work, and he still remains it. And he wanted to remind everybody that Wednesday, is it Wednesday? 9/11. It's September 11th, so that is, Tori being a retired NYFD, a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's near and dear to his heart because he was there. He responded, and
he was there.
Affected in one way or another. So, thank you, Tori, for that. That is something we definitely need to remember.
Yes.
And I know that they talk about that all the time on the radio. Like whenever there's a tragedy, everybody, 9/11 brought everybody together. Everybody had flags, and it was great. It was beautiful to see. People were nice to each other again, and it was, you felt like you had a common goal, and you didn't even know what the goal was, but you just knew you were together.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of funny. It's human nature how that stuff kind of fades after a while.
You know what it's like, man? It's like when you have a funeral, someone in your family passes, and the whole family gets together for that. And you make promises. Yeah, we're going to hang out. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But then, once
life happens.
Yeah, life happens. Exactly.
Right. So I'm glad we took that moment to mention that. I'm glad Tori did that because he's near and dear to our hearts always. That's
yes.
And of course, the people we lost. Everybody's got stories. So
much respect for the first responders in 9/11 and all first responders.
Yeah, absolutely.
We wish for free entry into all of our shows for first responders and military.
Yes.
Track owner or not agrees. We stand by it.
Nice.
Some won't let us do it. We're partners, which I don't really agree with and don't like. But we rent the track. Like we were up there and man, you walk up, you had a military ID or ex-military ID. If you were a police officer, fireman, come on in. Right. It's, this is for you guys. You protect us and you make us safe and the ability to actually have these events. So right. I don't know why anybody would let these guys in and treat them correctly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
go up and say thank you. Buy them a cup of coffee. Thank you. We saying thank you. Everyone here, thank you. Yeah.
That's a bit of a sobering moment, but something we should always reflect and remember on.
Yes.
And Terry, while I got you here, I want to make I haven't been able to comment. I used to comment regularly on your YouTube videos, which are all fantastic.
You do, man.
And I haven't been able to do it lately. I'll tell you why. Because now I watch on my smart TV at home. And there's no way to do it on TV. You have to be on a computer, I guess, on a phone, but I'm watching them on TV, so I can like them, but I can't respond. I want to mention something. You were talking about these little devils.
The relays.
This is what got me on Plane and Traffic, because Lou used to get questions early on about electrical and wiring, and that's not his forte. He freely said that, and he said, listen, you know that stuff. Would you come on and field those questions? Yeah, no problem. In the beginning of your video, you're talking about you using a relay to power up the pump, the coolant pump on your
on my LSA,
on the LSA, and it was probably just we all do this. We have something in our heads, but it comes out backwards.
I know what you're gonna say. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
You
I know
said that
exactly
the
what you're
relay
gonna say.
uses
Low
a
signal powered. Yeah.
You said it uses a larger current to switch the smaller current. It's the exact opposite. It uses a smaller current to switch the larger current. So I would have commented on that, but that's and I said I know you know that, but when we do things live, hey, sometimes our brain is engaged, but the mouth is in another gear.
Yeah, and you know what it is also when you do one of those videos. Okay, let's take a 4-minute video. All right, now I'm pretty much the cameraman, the producer, the talent, the editor, and music director. So, like you see a 4-minute video, it takes about 20 hours. And correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, because you pretty much do all these videos yourself as well. Because by the time you go and, I live with the video for a couple of days and I edit it. It's for 4 minutes. For about 4 minutes, you're looking at like maybe 20 hours. Which I don't have a problem with because that's like Brian, he does it for the grassroots racers. Like he says, when he's long gone, he hopes this thing goes, keeps on going strong. Same with me. When I'm long gone, I would love for people to look at the videos. I don't know how long these LS engines and the restoration is going to be around, but I'd love for people when they come up and say, listen, I saw your video and it helped me out. I mean,
when's that guy going to clean the top of his toolbox off?
Never. No.
I have one other pick. I have one pick on that video.
Okay.
And maybe it's a personal thing. I think you might have had the music just a touch too high when you were doing some explanation. I think that should have been maybe a little low because your explanations are always spot on. They're very informational, and I think sometimes if the music's too loud, it just takes away from that. You got to showcase you.
Well, you know what the thing is, even with the music, the thing is that on different, like on my headset, it sounds like it's low. But then when you put it all like on the computer, sometimes there's been many times where I just took it off and redid it and then put it back out, put the music in. Okay. But so it's kind of hard.
I use DaVinci Resolve, and there's a lot of tools to normalize audio levels that'll keep everything in the same, and you can look at your levels on the side.
Okay.
Check out DaVinci Resolve. They have a free edition that is unreal.
You know what I was going to go with? I was going to go with Pro Tools.
Oh, geez. It is so cool that any major software, Pro Tools is the ace. I mean, that's what everybody uses that really does it for a living. I use Audacity because it's free and I can play with that. But all the big ones, there's always free versions or student versions. I love that they do that because you could actually use just, like a watered down. You don't need the whole thing if you just casual or an amateur, That's cool.
Yeah, because I used Audacity before. My major in college, I graduated with a communications degree, which was TV production. I was on TV and music production. Okay. And so I have used Pro Tools and Final Cut Pro. That's what it is.
Adobe Pro is another one that's very popular.
I never use that.
They use that at the radio station. Yeah, they use that. I use the stuff we put up on the where my show goes on the web. That's all I do. All that stuff with Audacity, and there's not much I have to do. I don't have to really edit, but I do normalize. What's that? What I'm saying, Brian? What was that?
Resolve, guys.
Okay, yeah.
When you get a chance, spend 10 minutes with it. You'll throw the rest in the crapper. Doesn't have any of those problems the other ones has. This thing, the free version is better than the rest. Let's put it that way. I'm telling you, my business partner has 3 Emmys. Does movies. He's worked with everything. He'll build. He's an engineer. Alex Pikas is awesome. When he tells you to switch to DaVinci Resolve, you switch. He does full length stuff. I mean, he does for discovery from zero background at all into editing in 4 months. I did a complete TV show, for Highline 60. I had 8 multicams and 16 tracks of audio. All in one project.
Nice.
You can put 16 tracks?
16 tracks. Try mixing 16 tracks. Yeah.
That's like how we used to do back in the studio when we used to do
screen.
Terry, get a little bit of this in there too.
Yeah.
Every now and then. There's nothing wrong with that little stick music.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Played on a wrench rail, you got like a little xylophone thing going there.
Little xylophone. When I went to videotape that stuff, let's call All Out Live in Atco, he almost got me on the track.
Oh yeah.
He's like, let's do it. He almost got me on the track, Brian. You almost got me on the track. You know what stopped me? I promised my mother I would not race.
Oh wow.
Because I had just got that ZL1 And she was like, "You don't know the car. Just promise me you're not going to race. Matter of fact, leave your helmet at home." And so I was like, I can't, So
Yeah.
But Brian was like, "Oh, you can get out there."
Right. Well, you can do it. You can do a soft run.
Once again, that's one thing about our show is you don't have to be $1 million racer. Our class goes from 8.0 to 13.99. Standard Mustangs and Camaros these days run like 12s and 11s out of the box.
Yeah, out the box.
We can race on our show. Sign up. You sign up or show. Sign up, show up. You could be on TV, go win cash and prizes. We make you the star. Sign up. You don't have to have a full-blown race car. And look, NHRA just changed the ruling last year for late model Camaros, Mustangs, and Challengers. You go 10.99 without a cage in those cars from the factory now. So anybody, you don't have to, just make sure you have a helmet, put your jacket on, rest of the stuff, and you're done. You don't need a roll cage because of all the safety. The safety in these airbag cars with 100 of them is better than a roll cage bouncing around anyway.
True. Terry, have you gotten time on your white Chevelle?
I never. No, not yet. Not yet. I gotta find out what I could do with that car.
Any guesses?
I was gonna go down. I was getting it ready. I was gonna go down to Englishtown, and then they closed the place down.
Right.
And so ACO, that's an 1/8 mile, right?
Right.
ACO's quarter.
No, quarter mile. Yeah.
Quarter.
Because I wanted to come down, but then you know what happens. The one time I wanted to go down, the car just didn't feel right. So I was just like, yeah, I didn't want to push it.
Yeah. No, you got to go with your gut. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be working on it soon. Once I get that Trailblazer out the garage, then I'm gonna be working back on it.
You got to be getting close. I mean, where are you exactly? Because I know you're.
Oh, the Trailblazer starts.
Okay.
What happened was when I changed the what was it? I changed the oil pump on that car. And in order to change that oil pump, you had to drop the pan.
Right.
And when you drop that pan hasn't been off since probably when it was new. So the gasket had ripped. So what I got to do is I got to take the pan out, and you could take the pan out if you drop like the what's it called, the rack a little bit, and take the cross member. The pan will come down. But a company has sent me now. The Trailblazer SS is a front pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So I could go with a rear pickup, but the thing is with the rear pickup is that part of the air conditioning, the compressor is bolted to the oil pan. Mm-hmm. So I kind of don't want to go with that route. So there's a company that said that they're going to send me a baffle, basically. So upon the hard acceleration, that oil is not going to slosh to the back. It's going to stay right there.
Right.
So I'm going to try that out, and you'll see it. I'm sure you've seen the video. So once that's done, then I have Pro Edge. What's it called? Pro Edge Tuning. That's going to tune it. What's called Gomez. He's going to tune my car, and we're going to do a video on it where he could do a remote tune, get the car up and running. Then I'm going to go to Connecticut, and Ed's going to tune it and dyno it, and then we're going to find out what number that car is going to be pushing.
Right.
And of course, we're going to have something like we did in Chevelle. Hey, what number do you think it's going to be? Closest one will, I don't know, get the right answer, or you get a T-shirt or something like that.
Right. Something off of Terry's toolbox. Something laying on the top.
Yeah, someone cleaned that toolbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you notice that, man? It's not that bad. It's not bad. It is pretty bad.
You know me, I'm a detail guy. And when I watch TV, I watch behind the action. I especially like on old 70s. I watch a lot of 70s TV. I'm always looking at the stuff behind the main focus because I want to see. I just like seeing what's going on. Like I'm looking at your drum set right now. I'm not looking at you. I mean, you're a pretty guy. Yeah, I like looking at you. So you're a handsome man. But you know what? I'm looking at those skins, man. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Pinks. See the pinks all out of. So, first thing I saw when you came on was I saw that poster.
Exactly. I like that poster.
That actually was given to me by Fox Television when we did that's the 4 wide. If you look, there's 4 lanes there. Yes. We were the first ones ever to run 4 wide at any racetrack.
I remember that.
Yeah, before NHRA wouldn't do it because they said, "Oh, it wasn't fair," blah blah, and they all bitched. They came in there and put 20-something thousand in the stands. We came in 2 weeks later and put 33,000 people in the stands for Pinks All Out, and we got that. That's all signed by everybody. But they framed it. It was like $500 for that stupid thing there. But that right there that's gold to me because I stood out in the middle of that track and looked up at 33,000 people and went, "Holy crap! What did we do?"
Yeah.
Just imagine being one of the grassroots racers and standing out there and going, one day you're in the garage, you pull your car up and you look up and there's more people in the stands watching you race than anybody, than any racer has. 33,000 people. I mean, Top Fuel doesn't make a difference. One guy in a freaking Camaro, 69 Camaro,
Right.
got that. We got to see all that. And that's what we want to take this. That's our goal, is to get back to where people can come out to our events. We want them to come and watch these guys and support the grassroots racers.
Right.
And that was that in my life right now. When I walked out, I was all by myself. I'm, well done, out. Run around. You feel like 33,000 people, and you're like, hey, what's up? And you're like looking around, like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, because we were doing it was getting bigger and bigger. I mean, it was like 5,000, then 10,000. And we were averaging 10 to 15 to almost 20,000. When we showed up at ZMAX, man, you talk about crap pants. You know what I mean? You put us on that stage. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a guy, I'm a speed shop for 20 years. How did I get out here in the middle?
Get out here, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's our goal. We want to pull in, not 2,000 people. We want to pull in 20,000 people. We want them to come out and watch these guys race like they did before. We're trying with other networks to bring it to another level. We've been, trying to get, with the Motor Trend and those guys, trying to take it to, just a higher level and keep bringing it up to give these guys more and more chances for more households. Right now, we're about 120 million people with all the outputs we're doing right now. But
That's great.
and one thing too, I forgot to tell you guys too, we partnered with RPM Magazine, and we just started this in Michigan. Everybody that races on our show not only gets on TV, but gets to go into RPM Magazine.
Oh, nice.
Win one of the classes. See all alive over there? That's ACO from last year.
Oh, getting some air on that car, huh? Nice.
Right? And then
Which car is that? I can't really tell.
this one was
It's an orange one. Just identified by the oil pan.
it's, what do you call them? Oh God, my God, he's gonna kill me. Mike Ragusa. Remember Mike Ragusa?
Yeah.
His Ragusa's car. His son.
I've just been pulling that one up. Who was the guy with the blue Nova that was racing?
Oh yeah, Anthony Monaco, I
Yeah,
think.
there you go. Yeah, Anthony Monaco. He had his whole family out there.
Sorry, George, you're not on here. But there's Loose Screw in its old version of paint.
Yeah.
All right.
So everybody gets ink. I mean, that was another deal we made. We're going to be every event we do in 2020, and hopefully maybe even the one in South Carolina. They're shipping out. I got to look at my deal with them, but I think 200 magazines that we're going to hand out to every single person to get a copy when they come in. We do is they're allowing us, I think, 6 pages on each one of their deals for grassroots racers, not rich boy John asswipe. I'm talking about you next door, him over here. This is what we're doing for these guys. You know what I mean? This ain't no joke magazine. This is real stuff right here. So everybody that comes to our event, if you win, or I just did Lapeer. I submitted 22 pictures. It wasn't just the winners. We took it from the stands. We took it from good looking cars, good burnouts, and then we highlighted those 3 winners of each class from there, and then the call out people, which George, which we were going to talk about with George. That's obviously you saw that. Terry witness. We do a second show called the Call Out. So at each event we shoot All Out Racing, which is on like on Map TV, and as well the Call Out, which is the grudge race. It's smack talk. It starts online. We call it, our tagline is keyboard to concrete.
Yeah, that's great.
Show up or shut up. Real simple. You can talk smack all you want online, but we're going to give you a stage again to hash your grudge out on TV. We do these small videos that you'll see. They're about a minute and a half. My name's John Smith. I've got my name's 69 Camaro. I'm calling out Terry Wilson and his Chevelle. Show up at ACO, New Jersey on this date, and I'm gonna walk away from your ass. And then they have to reply. They reply. We do these online videos. They go viral. They basically everybody shares them, and it creates this buzz before we get to the event. Now we say, hey, you saw him talk crap online. Now come watch it live, and we bring it out there. And that's what Terry was able to witness that. You saw
It was beautiful.
George race, Shannon Poole, the Blue Nova was gorgeous, man. That thing, with Monaco.
He pulled up twice.
Yeah.
He was halfway down the strip. I was like, oh.
No, we got some great stuff in there. Great stuff. But no, it's another show that you come out to our event. We replace on our original show. We remember we used to do called the Quick 8. So we did Pinks All Out, and then we had a little segment for Quick 8, for cars that were faster than your normal, grassroots guy. So we replaced that with that. This was supposed to be something fun we added. Well, it's got so out of control that we've actually created its own TV show. So we've aired, 4 or 5 of those episodes are airing on MAV as well, in between the All Out Live shows on Wednesday night. And it's on. If anybody wants to watch the show, go to MAV TV. What's today? Today, Thursday. Last night was an episode. Every Wednesday and Saturday, there's episodes on MAV, and Revin TV's on Saturday mornings as well too. So you can watch all the episodes, or just go to alloutlive.com and you can watch them from there too. They're all on YouTube, organized now.
Nice. And the cool thing is you run with your brung, man. I mean, like you could. It doesn't matter how slow, how fast your car is. You show up, you're running it.
No, that's the good part about the call out. The call out covers all the fast guys and the grudge world that's out there these days that's so popular. All Out Live and All Out Racing TV covers everybody from $8 to $13.99. Anybody. I mean, what other event can you do that? And hell, we're one thing. If you guys, I don't know, Terry, do you ever get a chance, or anybody ever been to a Pinks All Out event? Pinks All Out?
I've never been to Pinks All Out. No.
If you ever been to one of the things that really comes down to is not the racing, it's the camaraderie and the pits. George Rubistello has been to 14.
14. He would have been the most decorated.
Yeah, he's the most decorated. He originally started off as one of the contestants on Pinks All Out, and he ended up in the finals 2 times, I think. But if you ask George and his wife Karen why they would come to the Pinks All Out events, it had nothing really to do with the TV part of it. They still have friends that they meet up with today, 10 years later, from our shows to come to our shows because it's a party in the pits. They have so much fun, and we're bringing that back. We had a band we had 2 bands in Lapeer, Michigan on Friday night, and Shannon Poole did a barbecue cook-off with ribs. It was just a big party.
Oh man, that would be great, man. I got to tell Shannon he should have sent me a plate.
So he won. He won his own trophy he made. We beat everybody else out. So we're doing it again on next Friday night. It's Shannon Poole's Call Out Cook-Off number 2, and it's ribs again in Texas, but this time it's Texas. So I think he might have his hands full up in Texas.
Yeah, he's from Memphis.
He's a Mississippi boy,
Yeah. He's a different style.
Mess with his gumbo? No. Mess with some ribs? That's Texas right there.
Yeah. But I tell you what, like I said, when I was there at what's called ADCO, like you said, behind the dragon, man. I mean, you had some of the nicest and coolest people, man. They were just coming up to me, talking to me, and even Zimbaldi, the guy who has the
Green 69 Camaro.
Green 69 Camaro.
Yep.
The family, and that's the thing. They bring in their families, not just bringing like the son or the wife and the daughters, and everyone is there to root these guys on. And man, I ate well that day. They had the little barbecue out there, and the wife was asking me, would you like some sausage and pepper? I was like, yes, I would. Yes, I would. And it was
a party in the pits, man.
It really is. It really is.
And on Friday night, no camping charges, nothing. Come out on Friday night, you get a spectator ticket for $10 at Houston Raceway Park. Racing for the test and tune is $20. We got a DJ coming out all the way from Dallas, Texas, all the way down to Houston with a karaoke. He's going to do DJ and karaoke with a barbecue cook-off, and anybody can camp on premises for nothing. It's a party. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's a great formula, man. It really is.
It was kind of cool because they let me on the track. So where are you guys going next?
We'll be in Houston Raceway Park next weekend. Not 2 days from now, but on the 13th and 14th. So the 13th we'll be doing the call out and the test and tune and the barbecue cook-off and the party. Saturday we get to business. You know that. We're actually having some junior dragsters out this time. We're having a shootout for the juniors. And then we're going into the All Out Live and the call out racing right there all the way till about 11, 12 o'clock at night. So should be fun. Anybody in the Texas area, man, come on down. It's an awesome time.
What kind of time are those junior dragsters doing now? Has it changed in the past years at all, or are they?
Yeah, it's one thing I really don't know a lot about. I've watched them, but it's something that we've been asked to add, and people say something, we listen, we want to get the kids involved. So we're adding them to this one and South Carolina Motorplex. So this will be my first really delved, into them. I know they're doing like 80 miles per hour in the eighth mile.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Those,
nice.
those little things are fast.
They do, yeah,
It's
that's
scary.
quick.
You're so close to the ground too. So it seems like over 100.
No kidding, right?
No, but like it's definitely a good time. I mean, like I said, you got some of the nicest people, and I was having a good time out there, and I really, so I thank you for allowing me to come down, man.
So who's heading out to SEMA this year in PRI?
Chassis John is. We don't have.
I'm going to be at SEMA.
You're gonna be at SEMA. I'll see you at SEMA.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hang out.
Hopefully,
I know Rubistell's going to be at SEMA.
Yeah, we're trying to. We've got a deal with Pennzoil. Hopefully, we can solidify one more time. Their budgets got cut as everybody else did, so they're limiting how many cars come in. The last few years, they've given us an end cap with a beautiful display for our car sponsors. If we can pull it off again, we'll do the same thing. We'll be outside the main. Well, you saw Shell's booth outside.
Yes.
Huge. So we had Jamie Ott's killer cab out there last year. I built a 1,000 horsepower Hellcat for one of the projects we did for Pennzoil year before, and this will be my how many years? Over 20 years I've been going to SEMA. So I've got tomorrow I got to start making the plans. I'm way behind the 8 ball on that. And then PRI, Nelson Gill. Nelson's. You want to talk about an awesome guy? That man is awesome. I know and he is. When it comes to getting stuff done and networking and pulling strings and talking to people, he has done more for us over the last 6 months than most of our sponsors. So he actually put us in touch with people at PRI, and they've offered up 2 spots outside in the hallway for 2 of our cars. So I'm going to try to see if Georgie or somebody wants to go out there with Luke's crew, or maybe Shannon, or from there. And then as well, Nelson wants to have a car inside the booth. So we're going to have a pretty good presence, let's say, out in PRI this year. Oh, then it's snowing and cold and crap again.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. They need to have that in the spring.
Yeah, in Orlando, Florida, and they moved it there.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Even
we
better.
went from Indy to Orlando for 3 or 4 years, and it was the greatest thing in the world. And we went back to that. I took my wife, Robin, last year. You met Robin. And
Yes. Tell
I
us
said, "Are you sure you want to go to this one?" Because every time I'll call her outside and it's snowing. I go, "It's freaking snowing. It's snowing. I don't understand what the hell I'm doing here, walking around in the snow. It's the stupidest thing in the world." But
why did they move the show?
Hold on. Let me ask you this. Because I know you're from the Northeast, no?
oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it hard to get you to leave?
We were just talking about that before the show, Terry.
when I left Long Island, New York, it was in a position where I was just finished up some college, and I've only worked for 2 people my whole life. 2 people. One was in high school. I was going to Votech, which I took auto body repair and finishing mechanics. And I was working at Sunrise Toyota on Long Island. You probably know where that is.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So it's on Sunrise Highway. And I worked there for about 6 months. And then I was into the auto body side and the detailing and wet sanding, buffing, and I was really gotten good at it. And I went out on my own. And I house to house detailing up and down the Long Island Expressway and up and down through that traffic for many years. And my dad actually was the vice president of the Penny Saver newspaper out there.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Really?
It was a corporate takeover, and after 20 plus years, he had a lot of offers all over the country. And in Maryland, they called him up and said, "Hey, we heard you're free. Come on down." They offered him a really good contract. And he said, "Hey, you want to stay here? You want to come down?" He goes, "I get, down there, if you really want to open up a business, I could help you out down there with the newspaper and stuff like that." And I thought to myself, geez, I'm only 19 years old. You know what it's like trying to have your own place at 19, hustling up and down the highway, and in the wintertime, you can't do house-to-house detailing and stuff like that, and I was, so I said, all right, well, I moved to Maryland. When I was 20 years old, I had just relocated into Maryland, and I started my own shop, and then 20 years later on the nose, I was out of there. I sold there after 20 years. So it was a great move for me. So was it hard to move? Yeah, I spent almost 1.5 years, 2 years driving to Long Island, New York every weekend to go hang out with my buddies, and then coming down. I was up and down Jersey Turnpike 1,000 times to go home, and then finally just, life changes and settled in, and It was a good move for me because it put me into the position able to, run my own business, and I probably worked on thousands and thousands of cars. I had thousands. 20 years I had probably well over 1,000, clients and people involved. So it was fun.
Yeah, because same here. I mean, but I'm still in New York, of course. but
You're paying taxes. That's your fault.
it's my fault. I blame no one but me. Yes, I totally agree with you on that. But I went to college in Virginia State University. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was the thing too, is like when you're 19 years old or 20 years old, how do you pay the taxes? How do you pay the $1,200, $1,400 back in 1980? I'm 50 years old now. That was 1989 or 88. And even back then, if you wanted a one bedroom under an apartment or somewhere, you're still paying over $1,000 a month.
yeah, try it now.
No, I won't. I'll never go back.
Yeah. But like I said, I got one foot, like what's it called? I'm trying. Well, I don't know how far, but but I got like a little land in South Carolina that I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Because like you said, it's a struggle, man.
Yep.
Because everything is so high. Definitely. I see Lewis Lee trying to sneak in here.
Can you still hear me, Terry?
Yeah, what happened to you? You don't see your lovely face.
I guess because I'm logged in as Lewis Lee. When he came in, it bumps me off the video. Now I don't know how this happened last time, and I don't know how to get back on. I know now. At least I know my audio is there.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we can still hear you.
Okay, that's just one thing I wanted to check.
Yeah, if you log out, then what happens is it breaks everything off. I bet.
I'll shut the show down if I log off. Yeah, because I'm logged in as him. That's what started.
How about this, guys? I'm going to rock and roll. I've actually got to finish up editing. We have to have 3 episodes. I've got to, by the 11th, I have to have the second one done for Orlando, and I've got to get still the street one and the call out done for TV. So I'm actually going to be editing a little more tonight. I appreciate the time on here, man. Terry, I look forward to seeing you out in SEMA.
Oh, we're going to hang out.
It's going to be fun. We'll have a good time.
Oh, no doubt.
If I unhook, he should be able to get back on, correct? No?
But yeah, don't worry. Do what you got to do. We'll figure it out. Brian, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. It's and then I'll be in touch with you. We'll see if we can get you on a radio show one of these days when you're sitting down for a minute.
Oh God,
no, he's you know what it is? He's the hustler like Nelson. You know how Nelson hustles?
Yeah,
my man's a hustler.
That's good.
100%.
That means he'll find time to do it.
Hey,
Brad, real quick.
Yeah.
What was the name of that software?
I actually put it up there. It's DaVinci Resolve. Take 2 minutes.
Cool. I got it.
Download it for free. Try it. You'll never look back in your life. Never. Telling you.
All right. Cool. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna download it tonight.
Do it. On a final note, everybody come out to Houston Raceway Park, 13th and 14th of this month. Go to alloutlive.com. Click on ticketing. Get your tickets. Anybody in Texas, come on out. Have a great time. Have a party. And our finale of the year is South Carolina Motorplex on 11th through 13th. We're going to do an all-out call-out. Anybody on property can call anybody out for a whole day. We're going to do a big tire and small tire shootout. We're going to have 3 all-out live, all-out racing classes, a junior shootout, and we're going to have it's going to be off the chain for the season finale. So everybody come out to South Carolina Motorplex. Jeff Beacon's place out there, one of our great sponsors as well. RGS Racing, Nelson Gill, Boss Hog, Torque Converters, Flexolite, Induction Solutions. Everybody involved that supports us, thank you very much. And Terry, we'll see you soon. Thank you guys, man. Appreciate you having me on here, okay?
No doubt, brother.
Have a great one, man.
Hello, and we'll catch up, bro.
You got it. Take it easy, guys.
Take care. One is the loneliest number you could ever do. DaVinci Resolve. Ray, you still out there? DaVinci Resolve. Not wait for Ray to come back. I'm just going to write this down. Drum solo. Chassis John, I see you out there. Let me ask you, what sticks do you use? There you go. Ray, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. We're back. We're back.
I was in some kind of weird alternate universe, and I tried getting back in. It says it looks like you're broadcasting from another window now because I didn't log out. I'm like, ugh, and you couldn't get around that. So
Yeah, you know what it was? I think, like you said, Lewis Lee tried to get back in, and I guess you had his account.
Yes, I'm on his account. Right. See, when he came on, that's what screwed me up because once he came on, it kind of bounced me out, and that was the problem.
Okay, is he gonna? Did you use your account because he might try to do it again?
No, I'm still on his account. I'm
All
still
right.
on his. I'm still on his deal here.
Yeah.
So you talking
Right.
drumsticks? What's going on? You talking drumsticks?
Well, Jesse
There
John.
he is.
Oh, there he is.
All right, how's it going, Johnny?
Good. I'm good.
All right.
You got the 7 A's, huh?
7 A's, yeah.
Those are some fat sticks, man. See, I gotta have the nice skinny stick, you know.
I don't know if you can read this. I'm rocking Regal. These are Regal tip. I don't know if you can read them.
I can see them, yeah.
Regal tip rock. These are from the 70s, man. They're
Those are old sticks. What size do you have?
nylon tipped.
You got the
And
nylon?
and they're skinny. They're thin. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the what's it called? The
Fast.
Zildjian. If you can see that,
Oh, nice.
you know,
Nice.
and it has the grip tech.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So when you're doing your rolls and you feel the stick slipping, you just move it on back.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. The little pine tar. Yeah.
So John, you said no regrets moving to Florida.
Absolutely not.
That's what most people say.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Musa said the same thing.
Yeah.
Musa said no, never again. And then I went out there. When I was out in California, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, and I met with Richard Holdner, and I was supposed to meet with Musa, but like me doing things, him being busy, it was kind of hard.
Right.
And he told me, he said one time before, he goes, "Oh God, no, I don't regret it."
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And Richard Holdner says, "I don't know how you do it." He said, "I didn't know what a fair weather car was up until I went to New York for a couple of weeks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking with Brian about that before the show, and I got his history and how he moved and whatnot, and telling him, and I was just at a wake last night. We were talking about just the same thing about relocation, and it's a hard thing to do, especially when you're born and raised somewhere. You hear all your life.
It's especially if you have your family around,
Yeah.
Like if you have like your parents and your aunts and uncles around, it's kind of hard.
I don't have much of that anymore, but it's like I was just telling my wife tonight. We were just talking. I said, "Hey, listen, we go somewhere else. I'm going to have things to do because I'm going to find like the car community, the music community. I'm going to be out there. I'm not sitting at home. But you are going to have nobody, and like you ain't going to want to come with me." And she goes, "Well, you can just come with me." I'm like, I don't think so. It probably ain't going to work too well,
No.
And it's a real concern, it really is.
No, I'm gonna, like I said, at some point, I'm getting tired of the winters, man.
Yeah.
That was the reason we left.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Even though they're getting not as brutal as they used to be,
Right.
but they're still brutal, man. I mean, to go outside, and you got to dress up and you're freezing, your keister off, and then you got your buddy over in Phoenix talking about, hey, what's the temperature out like that? Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's a horrible 70 degrees over here, and we're about to barbecue. Listen, Terry, have fun,
Yeah.
So,
Now that winter 2003 to 2004, when it snowed like every week,
Right.
that was it. We
Yeah.
were like, let's just get the hell out of here.
Oh man.
Luckily, the business that I do, that I was doing up there, the fish business is much bigger down here.
I would
Oh,
imagine.
sure.
It's crazy down here. We're like so busy. So busy I can't get anything done. That's
Wow.
good. But
Yeah, that's a lie because I've been seeing what you were doing with the Trans Am with the Firebird. man.
Yeah. I'm in the garage now. I can flip the camera.
Oh, so yeah, you're gonna show us. Yeah, okay.
We were supposed to get that hurricane, so I had to get the wood out, for the windows.
Right.
So I had to shove the car out of the way.
Yeah.
But so this Saturday, I'm going back to work on it, though. I'm going to do something. Hey, check it out. You know how everybody buys those dollies you put under your car
Yeah.
so you can move it around?
Move around, yeah.
And they'll probably cost you, like, for the decent ones, it's like $400, like easily $100 or more
Per wheel.
right? So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was in Northern Tool, and they had those wood furniture dollies on sale. $7.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bought 4 of them. You can pull the car with one hand, spin it around, do whatever you want to do.
I got my Nomad.
These furniture dollies, they handle, I think it's 700 or 900 pounds from
Wow.
Northern Tool.
Yeah, I got one of my engines sitting up on one of those dollies.
See, now I got my Nomad in the driveway on the Harbor Freight ones.
Yeah.
I bought the cheaper ones, and as soon as I had to put the car in place, one of the casters already bent. And I just had to move it last week. So the good old floor jack. I was thinking about a set of cheaper go jacks for that reason.
4 of these, and if you put them long way, they center up.
Right.
And it's no problem. So I was able to just shove the Trans Am out of the way on this side, so I could do this deal with this wood. Now I got to put this wood away.
Yeah.
So I can have the shop back.
Good.
And I already told the wife I'm working on the car Saturday, and Sunday we're going to the season opener for the Bucks.
Okay.
So she's happy, for that.
Nice.
Hey, you know what? You could do the call out when they go down to Florida.
Yeah. Right.
See, if you were in New York, I'd call you out right now.
Ah,
I got nothing to mess with you, John.
The goal is get this car running for next summer, so I could do something like that.
Yeah, I saw the progress. Like you posted up on Facebook. It's looking good.
Everything I pulled out of there is junk.
Really? I know it's not purple anymore, is it?
What do you mean?
Wasn't it purple at some point?
Oh, you mean the blue that the guy was going to paint?
Yeah, it had the stripe. Yeah.
No, none of the stripes are on there. The car, I didn't do any of this. This is the guy that owned the car that I got it from. He's a body guy.
Okay.
But he was going to paint the car this color.
oh, yeah.
This Corvette blue. And the whole car is this is like a sealer primer.
Yeah.
Everything is, ready for paint.
Looks in
But
good shape.
I'll be painting it, exactly the way it was when I owned it the first time, with the black with the 3 different candy stripes and the silver on the bottom. This like this. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh, we got a picture of it.
Well,
I want to see a picture of you pulling up the front end. There you go.
Yeah.
Man, that screams 80s, man. Yo, when you drive the car, you're gonna have some Capizios and some Shams the Baron shirt on.
Yeah.
I got all these pictures from E-Town. Got the magazine article that Popular Hot Rodding did. I put all this stuff up as, incentive to get it done.
That looks good, man.
So there I am. I was.
Oh, look at you. You're in there, man.
Hold on a second. That's this car here.
Okay, looking like a 93
that I built. This was the car that got me deep into the 6s at like 216 miles an hour and a quarter. Wow. Yeah, that was a fast car. And, it's a little tight.
Just a little.
That's the way they are. That was a great car because it was a huge motor, 747 cubic inches with nitrous with a power.
Nitrous shot.
Had 2 stages of nitrous that were automatic, and it had a power glide. And you didn't have to do anything.
First, second.
Yeah, had a Freddie Brown power glide. This was the car we built for him. He ran this car in pro stock with a big motor with a Lenco.
Mm.
And then after 2 seasons, he sold it to some customers of ours in Puerto Rico. And they made us drive the car. Wow. Freddie drove the car for a season. We raced it here in America and in Puerto Rico. And a friend of mine, Andre, drove it for a while. And then the owner of the car asked me to drive it. Mm. It was just totally awesome, man. We did a lot with that car. It was great. And nice. The power glide that Freddie built, you put the car in low and it electronically shifted into high. But a lot of them have like a solenoid on the shifter that does that. This was in the valve body.
Oh,
The
wow.
shifter would stay in low the whole way down the track.
No fooling. Wow.
But it would electronically shift, using a chip.
Yeah.
And that shift solenoid was actually in the valve body.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's right in Bayshore. He
Mhm.
built some awesome transmission stuff.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. So yeah, that was a nice, easy car to drive. A 6-second pass.
Sure.
2 hands on the wheel. You just let go of the tranny brake button and see you later, bye.
Right.
And then at the top end, you just reach up, throw the parachutes, and click it off.
Right.
Yeah, that was a fun car to ride.
What rear end are you going with in that Trans Am?
I'm building a sheet metal 9-inch.
A 9-inch?
Nice.
Yeah, I got a 9-inch in there now.
A stock rear?
Since it's been a pro street car, it's always had 9-inch rears.
Yeah.
When it was ladder bars, when it was ladder bars, it was a 9-inch truck rear, and it didn't even have bracing on it. Have you ever seen the 9-inch housings? It's just like rounded in the back.
Yeah.
That's the housing that it had.
Mm.
That was like real early because I did that like 1979. I made that car into a pro street car.
Wow.
Yeah, it was early. Did you ever see the first one, Terry?
No, never did.
Hold on a second. Let me put the phone down.
Let me check it
I got
out.
some totes I got.
You can see the pattern on that wood now. That's nice.
That's what I'm saying. Buff it out and hang it up.
Yeah, all right. Some nice looking. Looks like a pinstripe art.
Oh, that's my shells.
That's cool. Yeah.
Hold on, let me flip it. This car here.
There you go.
Oh, what? Oh, so you're a Firebird man. Is that a Firebird?
Yeah, this was a 70.
Like a 70? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I cut it up and turned it into a pro street car.
Where was that picture taken, John?
This was at Cold Spring Harbor Lab.
Okay.
Yeah, over by where Billy Joel was living.
Right.
Yeah, we went over there and asked them if we could take some photographs, and they were like, "Yeah, no problem at all."
Nice.
Do you mind if we bring a girl in a bathing suit? No.
Yeah, right. You've seen the photos.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, right. It was my friend's girlfriend.
Yeah. Hey, that's great.
Yeah, Missy.
It's always nice.
Yeah, Missy.
Well, okay, I could ask you guys this question, okay? Because other than, well, look at that.
Low rider.
Yeah.
Look how low this thing sits.
Oh yeah, on the ground, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Kind of get a little nervous.
This was. Did you ever hear of? Oh my God!
Look at that
What's
turbo
one of those-
coupe in the
what's
back.
One of those big tile places on Long Island.
Kankos?
They went out of business.
Oh.
They
Well,
used to be
Kankos
a
is.
huge tile company. They had stores everywhere, all over Long Island.
Hmm.
The guy retired. He sold the business and then they closed up.
Okay. I know. I'd know it if I heard.
Something tile and flooring.
Yeah.
I forget the name. Anyway, this guy, Vinny Pelicane, he used to race at the Hamptons and at National Speedway.
Uh-huh.
And he came to me and he said, "I want to build a car, but I don't want to drive it." I'm like, "Oh, I could do that."
Yeah.
So I built that car back in 1991.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. We ran like super gas, super comp.
Mm-hmm.
That's at E-Town.
Yeah, I could tell by the.
Right there's the $2 window.
Yep. Tell by right. I could.
Wow.
I recognize the side of the pits there. Yeah.
And then, Ray, you would know this.
That looks like it was.
Is it easier if I flip the phone?
No, that's fine. That's
That's
fine.
good. It's beautiful.
When I flip it, is it still right?
That looks correct.
That's a great picture.
Fiber on the right, vet on the left.
Yeah. When I do this, you can still see it clear.
Can still see it. Yes.
Oh, it doesn't really change.
No, that's fine.
Okay. That's the old Pathmark Shopping Center parking lot on 231.
That's what I say. Deer
You got
Park
a car,
Avenue.
you got a Firebird over there, and you got a Corvette.
Yeah.
No, that's not a Corvette. That's a turbocharged Datsun.
Really?
Oh, really?
I thought it was like a C2 vet.
Yeah,
I was like some type of modified.
Oh
Vet.
yeah. I see. Like that's wild.
Yeah. That's twin turbochargers under the hood.
Right.
This guy came out of nowhere. We have never seen that car on the avenue all these years. And then when CarCraft came out to do that Cruising USA article,
Yeah.
this guy showed up out of nowhere.
Right.
Wow.
and they put them, with the group picture. And that,
Yeah.
Don Schwenker, he still has this car,
Oh wow.
this blown Dodge Dart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's still
Nice car.
Was that a green car? Or
Yes.
green? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the car. I judged it at one of the Eisenhower Park car shows.
Yeah.
And he hung out with a guy with a blue Charger, and the blue Charger was blown also, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got pictures of my photo albums that are up there. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I got a question for you guys. Okay, it's about our rear ends. All right?
Nice Granny. Yeah.
I got a couple of 12 bolts, right?
Okay.
Now, other than if you was to go with, let's say, the Mosier axles, if you go to Mosier axles that converted to a 9-inch where you, well, not converted to 9-inch where you have the bolt-in axles at this point, right?
Yeah.
Other than the versatility of a Ford 9-inch where you can change on the fly,
Mm-hmm.
is there a real difference? I mean, if you was to do that to the 12 bolt, would it be just as good?
Well, then you're using a C-clip eliminator kit.
Right.
People are pro and con on.
Right.
You also have a straight splined axle instead of a tapered spline. There's a lot of controversy over which is better there. A lot of people say straight is stronger. So you got to go by. You just got to weigh out those what's important to you.
See, my biggest fear is those C clips, like you said. Like if one pops out, one wrong move.
Oh yeah.
Got your quarter panel. You take it.
So
That happened to a friend of mine.
Really,
I hear horror stories.
We were cruising. No big deal. We were cruising to Crab Meadow Beach.
Oh yeah.
We all used to go to Crab Meadow Beach and hang out in the parking lot with our cars.
Right.
And it's just that one road into the beach.
That's right.
And his C-clip broke, and the driver's side tire came out. Now, luckily for him, he had like N50 15s on it. We're talking in the 70s.
Yep.
And the car had shackles and air shocks. So the fender lip was above the tire.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a problem. When that thing broke, the tire just came out of the car.
Yeah.
And then he felt something was going on and he stopped.
Right.
And the axle, kind of tilted inside the housing because now it wasn't, the bearing was out. And the fender just sat on the tread.
Yeah, that's
was
great.
Unbelievable. So
But now you got these cars where the fender is.
We called the flatbed. They, jacked the car up, slid the axle in, and put it on the flatbed. But yeah, C-clip eliminator kits are phenomenal because it converts that setup to like any other car, a Pontiac, an Oldsmobile, a Ford. The bearing is out at the flange.
The only problem I've heard about that is there's a propensity for seal leakage at the bearing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had experience with it firsthand, but that's what I heard. So
my dealings with C-clips is, when you have to cut the snout off the 12 bolt housing or the 10 bolt, depending on what you're using. And you have to leave about 1/4 of an inch of that protrusion in order to register the bearing itself. And we would always just put a bead of silicone around that. And then when you slid it in, that silicone would kind of like work its way around, and that would create a better seal. Never had a leaking problem.
Okay.
After that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Sounds good. I don't know about over time. What would happen?
Yeah, well, sure. Over time, that rear end fluid's going to work, break that down. But
right.
The thing about the 9-inch, well, it takes more horsepower to move a 9-inch rear end.
Yeah.
The pinion's very, very low, so there's a lot more contact.
It's more contact,
pinion and ring.
Exactly, and that's
where it gets its strength from. But there's a lot more friction, a lot more surface area, and it takes a lot more horsepower to move a 9-inch rear.
The ring, the pinion doesn't want to climb the ring like it doesn't. Right. That's still
the other thing is on the 12 bolt, you've got a bearing in the front by the yoke. Mm-hmm. You've got a bearing below the head of the pinion gear, but it still flexes. Yeah. 9-inch, you got your front bearing, you got your bearing behind the head, and then like the front of a transmission, you got this right here.
Right.
you have that on the very end of the Ford 9-inch pinion, and there's an internal bearing in the housing that this slides into.
Yeah.
So the pinion is supported in 3 bearings as opposed to 2.
Right.
So this can't, you can't bend the pinion gear.
Right.
But consequently, yeah, it does take more horsepower. But everybody likes them. Yeah, they're stronger, but it makes it so much easier to change gears.
Oh yeah.
You pull the pumpkin out and you put it in a vise,
Right.
and you do everything you got to do on a workbench, as opposed to working under the car to change gears on a 12.
Or taking the whole axle, taking the whole axle out.
Yeah, exactly. If it's something you're going to drive all the time and you're not going to race it, you're going to put one set of gears in it and walk away.
You'll be done. Yeah.
You know, the other thing about the 12 bolt is it's you got that cast iron center section, and then the steel tubes that are plug welded from the factory. They're actually stick welded.
Yeah.
So those rear ends bend a lot.
Yeah.
We used to have to actually put bracing with like tubes with Heim joints and clevises.
Yeah.
Use a big clevis near the actual center of the rear end, and you drill a hole through the casting.
Right, on that web.
Further out by the bearing ends, you'd put a set of tabs, and you would do a deal with like a left-hand, right-hand thread kind of. And that way you can crank into it and give the rear end structure. So the tubes don't want to, go back.
It's like
when
a
the car
gate.
takes off, what happens is that the pinion, the ring and pinion wants to move the center of the rear end forward in the car, and the tires want to take the axle tubes and
turn
push
it up
out the back.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a 12 bolt, you got to do those bracing supports, and you need like one. I think it's a company called LPW, makes a really thick aluminum rear cover
with the bearing supports.
That's got bearing supports in it. Yeah, there's 2 internal screws with use like an Allen key.
Right.
It's got a plate.
Yeah. And it goes against, you tie it in and then you bolt it down. Yeah.
And I'm sure somewhere along the line somebody makes like billet replacement caps.
Yeah.
But you'd have to have them like, line board or honed or something like that. Because the ones that GM puts in them, they're no good for more than like 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
You literally bust them right out of the rear end.
Yeah.
And that's where the difference is, on a 9-inch. Everything's a lot stronger, even the stock ones. If you buy what they call a nodular center section, it's a different type of steel. That's like the high performance and truck 9-inch.
Yeah, nodular iron, sure.
You can still find those things in junkyards,
Yeah.
But everybody makes them. And they make them in aluminum, they make them in ductile iron, they make them in like billet. You can get them in anything you want.
Yeah.
So,
you give me enough to
I
think
stick
about.
with the 9-inch, and actually when I build the rear end this time, it's a 9-inch. It's going to be a 9-inch, but it's going to run a 9.5-inch ring gear.
Oh.
And you can even go as big as a 10, but those only come in certain. They come in the softer Pro gear only, and only in certain ratios. But on the 9.5, you can get stuff that's like down in high 3s or low 4s, and you can use that stuff. You can drive that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the larger ring and pinion. I'm going to go with I think it's like 28 or 32 spline on the other end. So I'm going with like kind of like pro stock, pro mod stuff, even though I'm really not going to race this car.
You're not going to race that car.
I'm going to race it, but I'm not really going to race it.
You're not going to go nuts.
No.
Is it going to be street legal?
Oh, that's the whole idea. It's always been street legal, and it'll be
Okay.
street legal.
All right.
It'll be a street car first and a track car second. It was always that way.
Okay, cool.
I was just, I made sure I did what I had to do to make the car a fast street car. There's so many versions of Pro Street, but my version of Pro Street is if it looks fast, well, damn well better be fast.
It better be fast, yeah.
And a lot of guys don't do that, but I don't have a problem with that because I got a lot of friends that have Pro Street cars that they've never seen the track.
Yeah.
And I respect that. That's totally cool. There's nothing wrong with that,
If you want that look and you just don't want to beat on the car, it's a look.
Yeah, and that's been around forever,
Mm-hmm.
I really ran into that stuff back, oh my God, in the early 90s at Atco Raceway. It was the National Muscle Car Association. They used to come there every year and put on a big 2-day race.
Mm.
And they had a class called King Street, which was basically it was pro street. And it had a pretty long list of rules, you know, that the car had to have the right stuff in order to be able to race on the track. And there was things that you didn't have to have, even though the car was pro street. You did not have to have wipers. You didn't have to run mufflers. You could use slicks. You didn't have to have real street glass. You could have had plastic windows.
Oh, like plexiglass, yeah.
So there was a lot of leeway in that, you know. And we showed up with a 480-inch motor, and the car was running, you know, like mid-9s. And the guys that I ran against, they had these killer pro street cars, guys with blower motors, and they were running 13s.
Wow.
And it was a heads-up class. It was just insane, you know. I sat back and watched what was going on, and we actually let everybody run, and then we went out for the very last time shot for qualifying and just set the record for low ET for the class, and we were the #1 qualifier. I got paid extra for that. And then
now 13s at one point 13s was a pretty fast street car.
Yeah. But when you got cars that are running low 9s,
Well, back there,
13s is nothing, you know. And come race day, nobody wanted to pull up next to me in the lanes.
Yeah.
And the guy that ran the show, Russ, he came down and they re-inspected the car in the lanes and said, well, no, this car's totally legit. Because everybody was complaining, oh, that's a race car. It's a race car. And I'm like, no, here's the registration. Here's the insurance.
That's the problem was because you had too much sport, and that's what it was. Trying to knock your ride.
There's a YouTube video out floating around all about that. And I played catch up with these guys the whole day. You know, there was about 35 or 36 cars that were there for that class. So you had to make some rounds, you know.
Mm.
And we just looked at whatever these guys had, you know, on the qualifying sheet. And in my head, I just let them go, and I would go 1, 2, boom, and let go of the tranny brake button and chase them down.
Oh, nice.
You know, and the crowd loved it. It was phenomenal. And then
Yeah.
in the final, in the
had
final,
to drag them in, man. Come on back.
There was a guy with like an 82 or 83 Camaro. They found a nitrous system between rounds. Somebody had a plate and somebody else had a bottle, and they wired up this crude nitrous system on this guy's Camaro to run me in the finals. And we didn't know about it. But I knew he was like the #2 or #3 qualifier. So he was pretty fast to begin with, and I wasn't going to let this guy get out ahead of me anyway. But he hit the button, and there wasn't enough fuel, and it blew the hood like 30 feet in the air.
Kaboom.
Yeah. So
Well, that's what happens when you throw it together in the parking lot. You miss those little details, like, you know, the fuel adder and the, you know, pressure and whatnot.
Probably didn't have that air fuel meter or gauge or whatever. And
but you got to hand it to these guys. You know, they said, oh well, what can we do? How can we beat this guy today?
Right.
Well, you know, you gotta give him credit for it. You gotta give him credit for the ingenuity to put this thing together. You know,
Absolutely, man. I went right to their pit, you know, after we won and talked to them and told them, dude, man, I love you guys. It was great, you know. Yeah. You did what you had to do. You're real racers.
Well, it's better than them trying to break your legs in, you know, with a crowbar.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have a parachute for appearance sake?
My car's got a parachute for real.
Yeah. We saw the laundry out there.
That's what I'm saying. Drive around with that thing on there.
Yeah, I always did.
Dragging the laundry. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. I always had a parachute on the car.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was one night we were some of my friends, they were doing some street racing over on 347.
Oh wow.
Comac.
Nice.
Yeah, in Comac, where I don't know. Do you remember what PC? I don't know if it's still there. PC Richards was on 347.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like right after where Jericho Turnpike and 347 splits.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay? You go over the hill, and PC Richards was, I think, on the left-hand side, and there was a post office on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And that part of 347 is dead straight for about almost 2 miles.
Yeah.
So a couple of my friends, they made a pass, and then I followed them out after I saw their brake lights come on.
Right.
And I actually threw the laundry out on the street.
Wow.
Nice.
I had to pull into a development and then get out of the car and roll
Yeah.
it up and throw it in the passenger side with the window down. And
Yeah.
everybody was like, you're an idiot. So it was cool. I mean, I wasn't going fast. I think it was probably, I probably only was going about maybe 80 miles an hour.
You know, my but Billy Lynch told me a story. They were working on one of the iterations of the rail. This is back like in the late 60s, maybe early 70s. Yeah, probably late 60s. And I'm trying to think if it was Red Lang or oh no, Mike Sforza. They were thrashing on the car, and they couldn't test it anywhere. You know, it was like night, and Mike's come out, put the car in a trailer, bring it out to my house. Like, well, you live out in Suffolk County, just come out to my house. And back then, you know, it wasn't as developed as today.
No.
And they brought that car to the service road on the LIE, unloaded it, and he said, "Go on, make a run right to the LIE." And it's like, it's the service road, and he did it. He actually ran.
Today, that's where Mexico is.
Oh yeah. The
Your
AAF rail down the service road, and actually a Suffolk County cop happened to motor by and pulled over, like pulled behind him. But the guy was a race fan. It was like, dude, he goes, "I don't believe what I'm seeing, but what the hell's going on?" He's like, "Oh, isn't this like the pit road?" You know, Billy was like playing it up, and the guy didn't ride him. He let him go, and he's like, "You guys, it's a good thing. There's like you picked this time and this spot. You really did pick a good spot, you know." And it was like all those stories you just can't make it up. It's like, but a freaking rail, you know.
After CarCraft did the first article on my car, I was cruising around Deer Park Avenue, and out of nowhere, a cop pulls up behind me, and I'm like, "Oh God, this guy's gonna pull me over. He's gonna give me a ticket for loud mufflers. He's gonna give me a ticket for something, you know." And that giant hood scoop that I had on the car, which it's not in that picture, but it is in this picture.
Big Harwood, yeah.
That big giant Formula 5000 scoop. I'm like, I'm gonna wind up getting a ticket for that, you know.
Yeah.
And
so I put my mail.
I'm doing the best I can do to not be on the loud pedal at all.
Yeah.
And this guy's following me for like 3 miles on Deer Park Avenue.
Oh man.
So I pull into a gas station, and I think it was some like off-brand, like a USA gas station.
Right.
And I'm pumping premium into the car. I get out. He pulls into the parking lot. He was actually he was caught at the light. I get out and I start pumping gas into the car, and all they got's like 93 octane off that place. And I used to run this car on Cam 2. Remember how
Cam 2? There it is.
Right out of the pump.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So he pulls up, and with the police cruiser right in front of me. And he gets out, and I'm like,
"Yep. Okay.
Now what am I gonna do?" He goes, "Oh, I wasn't gonna pull you over. I have the magazine that this car is in.
No shit.
I wanted to see it in person."
Wow.
I'm like, "So why didn't you just flip the lights on when we were down the road? I would have pulled over, and you could have told me."
I wouldn't have put this
"Here
crap
I am."
gas in my car, pretending like I'm putting fuel in it.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're gonna pull me over for something, so I thought maybe I could get away with it if I stop at the gas station. Because now I'm pumping this junk 93 stuff in there, and the car's got 112 octane in it already.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, no, shut the pump, shut the pump."
Yeah.
See, that was a problem with Cam 2 because your car rides so great, and then when you put your car back to like 93 or 92, it rides like hell.
I couldn't run anything but that. The car,
so yeah, okay.
The big block that I had at the time that Lee built me from Lab, it was 14.5 to 1 compression ratio with a like 708 roller.
Yeah.
And I drove that thing on the street. You know, the cam was dead to like 4,500 RPM.
Right.
It didn't have any.
Wow. And let me guess, you had a turbo 400 in there, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a turbo 400. Well, I had everything. When I first built it, I had a Ford top loader 4-speed.
That's strong training.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah.
Those days when it was pro street with a big block, with a 4-speed, with a narrowed 9-inch. That car was the most fun car to drive.
Yeah. Why'd you change the training? Why'd you take out the
I
Ford?
started getting real serious racing the car.
Right.
And clutch technology, to the guys like me, it wasn't there. I had a 3-finger,
Sure.
with Borgenbeck,
Mhm.
but it wasn't adjustable.
Right.
You couldn't hang counterweight on it, and that stuff was like totally out of my budget.
Yeah.
And it was inconsistent. You can't. This is the days when I was racing that 4-speed. It was the days before rev limiters.
Right.
So I'm like kind of revving it, watching the tack. I mean,
You gotta watch the tack.
I had an Excel dual point distributor, and I had a Stewart Warner cable drive tack.
Oh yeah. Right.
And I had it up on the dashboard.
Sure.
So this is before any of the real electronics came into play.
Right.
And it just got inconsistent by
What's
trying
that?
to.
Let me guess. Around 78, somewhere around there, 78, 80, somewhere around there?
79 is when I made it into a pro street car, but I was racing it prior to that with the small block with the 4-speed.
Right.
The car was a 4-speed car from the factory. It had an
Right.
M21.
Mhm.
And I blew that up. I put an M22 in it. I blew that up. I put a T10.
Yeah.
Blew that up. So there was this guy that hung around at the Hampton drag strip. They called him the Gremlin. He was a transmission guy.
Was it Ted's Transmissions?
No, not Ted.
Okay.
This guy he used to race a Buick Special.
Oh wow.
Like a beige
Yeah.
beige and brown.
Yeah,
Buick
sure.
Special. It was like a 15-second car, deadly consistent.
Yeah.
And he would run the brackets. He would run like bracket 2 or bracket 3 at the Hamptons. And his nickname was the Gremlin.
Uh-huh.
And he was this little Irish guy with the beard. He kind of looked like the dude from what's that cereal with the
Lucky Charms?
Lucky Charms. He looked like the Lucky Charms guy.
Magically
Swear
delicious.
to God.
Yeah.
Swear to God. And he lived in Northport, and I was living in East Northport.
Uh-huh.
And he knew that because he had seen the car around town too.
Yeah.
And he said, You need a Ford transmission. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
He goes, here's my address. Come to my house Saturday night. I'll be home at like 5, 6 o'clock. Come by. He goes, I build transmissions for a living.
Ah.
He said, and I do race car stuff in my basement. So I show up and we go down in his basement and he's got everything. And he used to do, like you would take the brass and you would like knock off every other other tooth on the synchronizers.
Yeah.
He would modify the brass. He'd modify the steel synchronizers. He had all of these different racing transmissions that he did. And he says, you need a Ford top loader.
Yeah.
And he whips out and he shows me instead of having the side cover, the cover to get to the gears is on top.
Right.
That's why they called it a top loader.
It's the name, yeah.
And it was a cast iron box.
Right.
So they were heavy.
Like a Saginaw.
Yeah, right, like a Saginaw. And he built me one of those with a 278 first gear. Then he came to my house and he recommended that I move to a Hayes 3-finger instead of the Borgenbeck.
Right.
So I bought the Hayes clutch because at that point I was working for ATV, so I was getting stuff at a good price.
Actually, Hayes, Borgenbeck is a 3-finger, but Ford used what they call the long style.
Right. I had a long style. That's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
So I went to the Hayes, the 3-finger Hayes, and he came to my house. I had the car in the air. He brought offset dowels.
Yeah, to align the bell housing.
He put the bell housing on. He put the dial indicator on the flywheel, and he spun it, and then he moved the bell housing around to get it dead center.
Yep.
He put the clutch together for me. He built me heavy-duty pedal linkage.
Nice.
Instead of that stock rod that's just like bent steel, and then it's got the cotter pins.
Right.
He built me a new clutch rod from the pedal to the Z-bar.
Nice.
He put gussets on my Z-bar to keep it from caving in.
Yep.
And then he built me a double Heim joint adjustable linkage.
Lower rod,
and he welded tabs to the clutch arm.
Right.
So instead of having that post, it had a Heim joint.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he set it up. He also built me a pedal stop, an adjustable pedal stop.
Right.
And he said, you're going to have to get used to the pedal only going down about 3 inches.
You don't have to go all the way. Right.
So he did all of that for me. I paid him to do all this stuff. And the car was like a completely different car.
Sure.
You know, and then he was the one that told me to buy the Hurst Super Shifter 3.
Oh, the 3, yeah.
They don't make that anymore.
No, I used the 2.
Completely got away from that.
Yeah.
So the 3 was actually a road race 4-speed shifter. It had that little red reverse lockout.
Right. Yes.
And it came with a 6-inch straight stick.
Yep.
And it was 4 3/4 inches from first to second.
Yep.
Second to third, third to fourth.
You can get away with that in an F body.
It had straight rods.
Yeah.
So it sat off your transmission.
Yes.
So I had to cut a pretty large hole in the tranny in the floor and build an aluminum box in order to get that linkage to work with the Ford.
Right.
We modified the stock transmission cross member. Basically, we just cut the mount off and put it to the back.
Yeah.
Because the tranny was a little bit longer, and then I had the drive shaft. I had to get the drive shaft redone.
Sure.
So I went to that guy in drive shaft shop.
Right.
It used to be right off the expressway.
Mm-hmm.
He set me up with a really nice 3.5-inch drive shaft with 1350 U joints on it. And
yeah.
I was ready to rock and roll, man. So that's when the car was its best.
Yeah, that's cool.
When had the small block, and then later on I went to the big block. It was so much fun to drive.
Yeah.
Then I put the Turbo 400 from Select Performance with the brake.
Right.
And never went back to anything other than that. Even when I sold it, we went from the Turbo 400 to a Power Glide because the horsepower basically doubled.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no need to run a 400 anymore. I didn't need that stiff first gear.
Yeah.
But now that I got the car back, I'm like, I was actually, when I knew I was getting the car back, I started looking around for Ford top loaders. I said, I'm going to put the third pedal back in the car.
Sure.
And then I come to find out you can't buy that Hurst Super Shifter anymore, but they're out there on eBay.
Yeah, it'd be used, right?
In pieces.
Okay.
Like, one guy would have the mount that goes on the transmission. The other guy would have the shifter. Somebody else had the rods, that kind of thing.
I know a guy who might have it. There's a guy who wrote a book. I have it on my shelf, all about Hurst shifters. It's like the Hurst shifter anthology,
Yeah.
I got in touch with him. He actually used to be a GM tech, and he, every GM dealership had a secondary shop where they sent radios and gauges to be for warranty repair. Right. And he was one of those techs. So as he saw that going away in the 80s, the early 80s, everything was more electronic. He started collecting equipment, and now he has a replica of one of those those shops in his basement. So he rebuilt. I sent him my Speedo and my tack for my GTO. He calibrated and certified the Speedo to within like 2%, which is unbelievable for something out of 1965. They just
sure.
And he not only rebuilt the tack, but now it works with the electronic ignition because it was made to work with points.
What's this guy's name?
I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I have to look into it. I don't know if I could find the book.
It's kind of like the Tack Man or something like that.
No, I don't think he was by that name. But he does, he was like the Hurst. I keep forgetting he was like the Hurst shifter guy. He wrote the 2 books about nothing but Hurst shifters. Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
That's cool. How much longer do we have before this thing shuts off?
I don't know. I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I have my water now. You're going to SEMA, right?
Hell yeah, brother.
We got to talk Rain to going, man.
I know. I want him to go. He'll have such a good time.
I know he will. He loses his mind. We could do a radio show from SEMA.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to do that.
When he gets back, we're gonna gang up on him.
I'm gonna this year. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some Facebook Lives from there.
We'll do something.
Yeah.
Definitely. Ray, we were talking about you while you were gone, man.
That's right. I hope it was all slanderous and libelous and all that shit. That's cool.
Oh, totally.
You gotta come to SEMA. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, vintage Hurst shifters. This is and he's got all the old ads recreated.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is. Let me see. What's his name? Pete Serio, Serio, and he even autographed it. to me.
I'm gonna see if I can get a copy of that book. That's
nice. I like that.
It was put out by
HP.
Yeah, it was one of the major companies. Let me see. PrecisionPontiac.com is his website. Believe it or not, of all of that, he was like all over the place with his. Yeah, PrecisionPontiac.com. Yeah, and here's like the gauges. He had all that shit. Let's see
That's
who.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see here. It was in 2004. This is volume 1. Let's see. The Hearst Campbell Olds Pontiac Manual Shifter Kits. That's going to be probably section 3. Let's see. What he has in here, which is really cool, is he just copied all the original instruction sheets.
Oh gosh, yeah. Look at that.
And the breakdowns, the part breakdowns.
Parts breakdowns and everything.
Everything is in here, so it's like you can not only, and it's by car, so you can not only find what you're supposed to have, but like you can verify parts. The Hearst mystery shifter he's got in here, it's all in here. The guy, it's a total comprehensive book about Hearst shifters. I wonder if it's gonna, and this is mainly like factory stuff. But wait a minute, I'm seeing some racing.
Picture that Super Shifter 3.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I want to find because I'm seeing here that I forgot. It's mainly all factory stuff.
Oh, okay.
But let's see. He's got Hearst dual pattern synchro lock shifters. All right, that's another one. Failing Comet. That's Vince's deal. I don't know if he's got the street and race stuff. The aftermarket. Let's see. Chrysler. Yeah. I'll look a little closer. But then he also has a breakdown the sticks, and then another one by SA. This is another good one, the Muncie 4-speed.
SA Designs, yes.
SA is great. I love their stuff. I had to get this one too because there was just a ton of good information on here. If you want to, and SA is cool because they'll do stuff in color. They have little color pictures.
Yeah, that's really nice. I was so late. What's it called? I was talking to the owner of the company, the book of SA Designs, and he says that he would have loved to have me do a book for LSAs.
Yeah,
that would be too cool.
Yeah.
Too late. He goes, if you get the LT engines, we'll definitely do a book. I'm like, I might have to go and buy one just for the book.
Dude, you can publish your own books these days.
You can. You can self-publish. Yeah. This one's Paul Cangelosi. Muncie 4. Yeah, I got this book really for identification because I got a bunch of parts. I got like a couple M21. I got 3 M21s. I got a T10. And then a bunch of parts. So this way you can actually date code. Now I'm like, back in the day, I didn't care. Just give me it. I don't care what it is. But now I'm thinking about, let's see what it is. Let's look up the numbers and the codes. And this book does all of that for you, which is great.
Ray, when are you going to send me one of those Nomads?
I just had to move that one the other day.
You got a 55?
Yeah.
And Tori has a 50. He has 55?
He's got a 55, yeah. Not a 6, sorry.
I saw Tori's car.
On Carfix. His 55, not the Nomad.
I was in the studio last week.
Oh, were you? Okay. Yeah, that was the 55 sedan, right? They made it on Carfix. Yeah. I don't know how many episodes they're gonna do.
He said they're gonna he's gotta get it out of there in like 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, that's what he told me. It's gotta go.
I know that episode was heavy on really just like the gas tank door. That was like the big thing.
Yeah, the gas tank door and I think something else.
And the ironic part was at the end, there's Lou with a table full of wiring, talking about doing the wiring, and I know he doesn't do wiring.
Yeah.
but that was kind of funny.
It's funny.
So, but on that car, it'll be easy to lay it in. Yeah, it's going to be a nice project.
It's hilarious to watch them film that show.
It is. Yeah, I can imagine.
They can't get enough done in a half an hour.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
And nobody wants to make that show an hour-long show.
Right. That's stupid.
The distribution doesn't want to up it to an hour, I mean, in a half an hour, you can't get a lot done.
They did it with Garage Squad. They gave them an hour, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
That kind of fits in that format. Carfix is the same thing. I mean, like Jared said, by the magic of TV, we're going to, he was filled in the gas tank door, and of course, the next cut was finished. So we all know, okay, we got it. We know what happened. So that was cool.
Two Guys Garage is an hour-long show.
Yeah.
Filmed in the same studio.
Right.
Right.
Those guys are cool. I like what's it called? What's called Bird and I forget the other guy's name.
Willie.
Willie.
Yeah,
really
Willie's
cool. I hang out with them in SEMA. They're really cool. Matter of fact, what's it called? We're gonna try to get him on the show.
Yeah,
we'll get him.
Willie's awesome, man. He's got some wild Mopars.
He's definitely a Mopar guy.
Yeah.
A big Mopar guy.
He's a good guy.
No, he's definitely good. Well, gentlemen, it's time for me to head on off. I want to go upstairs and say goodnight to my little son. He's in bed.
I'm gonna do the same. I got work tomorrow. Right. I'll send you. I'll send you info on this book. I'll pull it all out and I'll send you some links and everything. And this way, you can find what you need. Yeah. And he's a good resource. He's he knows his stuff, so he's a good guy to get. I'll give you the contact info too.
That's it. All right, good.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, well, yeah, I haven't been able to come on like when I get an invite because
I know, yeah.
The screen on my laptop took a shit.
Did it?
And the price of fixing the screen, I could just buy for like $200 more. I could just buy another computer.
Well, I'll tell you, the video on your phone is better than your computer was.
Looks good,
man.
You look better.
Yeah, but so I didn't have the app.
Oh, okay.
So you sent me the invite, and then I typed in the camera like 2 times the wrong way. And then what I did was I went to my email because there was a link to the show.
Right.
But it asked me to sign in. I went to sign in, and when I went through, it said use the app or the internet connection.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And when I did the internet connection, the audio was like, rah, 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 rah.
Okay.
So I logged out, and I went to the search, and I got the app.
Good.
And then when I came back, I turned it on with the app, and it was like crystal clear. The sound was great.
Beautiful and everything.
I logged out on my desktop computer, and then I was, watching you on this thing. So I can. What I'll do is I'll just come into the garage every Thursday night and just go on the phone.
Now that you got in and you've initiated it the first time, it'll work every other time. It'll be a lot faster. It'll just be a direct, like I was saying in the past, I couldn't. Lewis asked me to moderate the show a couple times over the past years, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get on. I didn't know why. It was driving me nuts, and he had no idea. And then I finally figured it out just a little while ago. I was signed in as me.
Yeah.
And it never signs you out unless you mechanically sign yourself out. So I was already in, and I couldn't sign in again under his account. Once I figured that out, now the last time I was like, now I'm in as Lewis Lee. I'm on his account.
Every Thursday when I come on my desktop, I go to my email, and there's the link to the show. And when it comes on, it's like, welcome back, Chassis John. So
right, yeah.
And you just hit the let me in button.
Right.
So now I have it on the phone, so it'll work. So that's good. All right.
Right.
No problem, guys.
Excellent.
So next we're gonna have Stitch on there.
Right.
Who?
Stitch by. He's a upholster. He does everything.
Oh, great.
You're gonna love this guy. I'm telling you.
That's cool.
The stuff he does. Woo.
Yeah.
What? So who's finding guests these days?
Well, everybody and anybody, I guess. That was Tori's talent. He had a great talent for doing that. And he had some great guests. So he certainly had the Rolodex that I don't have. So I don't have that ability. And like I said, I had enough trouble getting people on the radio, let alone on video. I tell them there's a camera, and they're like, holy shit, no. Yeah. So I don't know. We're going to wing it. Lewis has some ideas. He was thinking about doing like guest hosts. So like have Dina Parisi come in and be the guest host for the week.
Cool.
So, and he's got a few people lined up to do that already.
I got some people that I think would be interesting, so I'm going to make some phone calls, and then who do I point them to?
Send it my way, send it Lewis's way. Right. Whoever, any of us can get it back to him because
one of the guys I'm dying to get on here is Tim McCamus.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be really awesome.
If you watch his videos from his shop, he's just unbelievable. He's such a great guy. He's an awesome chassis builder. He's a friend, and the guy's got no censorship whatsoever.
Yeah, right.
If you watch his chassis builder videos off of his site, he tells you straight up.
Excellent.
He's a good guy. So I'll probably try and give him a call next week and see if he's interested in maybe coming on.
Yeah,
it would be really good. He'd be phenomenal, and he'll open up a world of professional chassis building that none of the guys here have probably had a chance to even be involved with.
Right.
So it'll be cool. But he's just like he's one of us. He's like a real red-blooded American. He put a huge American flag pole,
Nice
American flag in front of his shop. So
actually, a chassis name just came up today. I was talking to the guy who rebuilt my rear end for me, Gizmo Pro Street Gizmo John, and Gizmo Pro Street John, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, have you heard from Bernie Shackle lately? How's Bernie doing?"
Bernie's living in an assisted living facility.
He is. He's been in there for about a year now. And I told him, I said, "John, I got a feeling, he's there, and that's just like where he is, and that's what he's doing. It's like he's not working. He's just after his wife died.
Yeah, he wasn't the same.
I mean, they were married like 60-something years.
Yeah.
And I had him on the radio show shortly after that, and you could see it just, because I'd seen him fairly frequently around, and you could just see it took a lot out of him, and he just didn't know where he was going to go yet.
Took the wind right out of him.
And he kept working. He was still doing work. He was still welding every day.
Working over there with Anthony.
Yeah, every day welding. And then he his health failed a little bit, and they put him into assisted living thing. So, that's it. I guess his I
got to find out where he's at. So when I come up to New York, I got to go visit him because he's a mentor of mine.
Yeah, I can find out.
He actually worked for me at Chassis Connection for about a year.
All right.
We got a contract for that Trans Am, that yellow Trans Am. He wanted to build a dragster for his son. Uh-huh. And I'm like, well, I don't build dragsters, but I know somebody that does.
Yeah.
And then I made Bernie an offer he wouldn't refuse.
Uh-huh.
So he moved into my shop for a little over a year.
Wow.
And he built a bunch of stuff for us. And the first thing that he built was this 270-inch rear engine rail.
Wow.
For this guy down in Puerto Rico. It was
cool.
a top dragster, but it was actually an alcohol rail.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
With a big tall wing on the back.
Yeah.
I mean, the car was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And it was like a 5-second car right out of the box.
Yeah.
We built
Bernie was one of the nicest guys.
Nitrous motor in it, and then we put it in a shipping container, and we put wood in front of the tires and strapped it down, and a big flatbed came, picked up the container, and it went to Puerto Rico.
Cool.
And when it got to the other end, they called us up, and we all flew to Puerto Rico, and they got in the car and put that car right into the fives.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I heard the cars, and now we're talking, that was like 1997, I think we built that car.
Okay.
It's still around.
Oh, nice.
Some of the guys that I'm friendly with on Facebook in Puerto Rico said that the car wound up going to Miami, and from Miami, it's now in Seattle.
Wow. It's a hell of a trail.
Still running. It's owned by some guy in Seattle.
Cool.
I'm always on the hunt for cars that we built to find out where they are.
Yeah, sure.
That's incredible.
But we had Bernie on. I mean, he was just such a sweet man and unpretentious, but you couldn't get him to talk about himself. He just wouldn't.
No, he's real humble. Super humble.
I mean, he really was the first guy that I credit. He's been credited with the first rear engine rail.
Yeah, the first rear engine rail that Garland
for his car and took. And I asked him about it before the show, and he was kind of coy. And I said, "Listen, I know the story. I know it. I know. I wasn't there, but I know the story." I said, I'd like to talk to you about that on air. Would you like to do that?" He's like, "Well, I don't know. I don't want to have anybody feel." I said, "Listen, Don Gallis doesn't listen to our radio show, all right?" I said, "If he does, let him call up and refute it." Exactly. I said, "I just want to put it down as a factual, I just want it as fact. That's all I want." And, he asked that we didn't do it. And I said, "Okay, we respect his wishes."
He had a whole bunch of cars, all the Abrams and Shacker race cars.
Yeah.
Hell of a history for Division 1.
Yeah, hell of a history.
Those were the days.
But I'll find out.